FCT Minister defends FCTA's 2025 statutory budget of 1.78 trillion estimate before Senate ends. And Minister of State FCT charges Nawatch to promote peace and dialogue. A very good evening and thank you very much for joining us on the news at 7 p.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. I am Mariam Abubakar Kana. As Nigeria embarks on a new chapter in its tax reform system, the government's commitment to transparency, fairness and tax utilization, Hawa Gimba reports.
Representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anyete, reiterates to establish a robot at the 27th Annual Conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation and underscores the government's endeavor.
When citizens pay tax and achieve their civic responsibility, government has revenue to build roads, provide infrastructure, build schools, pay for services, social infrastructure that keeps the economy going, and that is what alleviates poverty.
Taiwo Oyedele, chairman of the Presidential Committee on Finance of the Economic Stabilization Bill.
The personal income tax system, and this would include exemption for low-income earners. It will include the ability to formalize informal sector. It will include removing reliefs and allowances. And many people do not understand this. Even many tax professionals have complained. They say, why did you remove all our personal relief and allowances?
Tax professionals say a well-designed tax system is crucial for financing government operations, promoting accountability, and ensuring sustainable development, adding that strategies, utilization of technology and data analysis can enhance tax compliance and improve service delivery.
The outcome of the reform is what we are going to be experiencing thereafter, which is for better Nigeria, to have more money, to be able to have an inclusive system where everybody is dragged into the tax net.
Once Nigeria is good, everybody will be good. And so we appreciate what professionally.
The conference served as a platform for tax experts, policymakers, and stakeholders from across Nigeria's 36 states, including the FCT, to deliberate on tax impacts on the economy and strategies to strengthen tax institutions, augment revenue. NTA News.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has defended the FCT administration's 2025 statutory budget estimate of 1.78 trillion naira before the Senate and the House of Representatives Committee on FCT. Onoze Yakubu reports on this and other deliberations after the committee sittings.
Termed Budget of Consolidation, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike reveals that 85% of the budget estimate is for the completion of ongoing and abandoned projects within the city center and satellite towns, prioritizing infrastructure over overhead costs. The minister commends the National Assembly for its cooperation and support.
When we mean ongoing projects, it's not that these projects were awarded by us. Projects that were awarded 2010, 2011, 2015, 2019. In fact, 90% of the ongoing projects are not awarded by this administration. But it's in line, it is intended with the focus of this administration that look. Government is a continuum. These are public funds. We cannot allow projects to just be abandoned simply because you do not award the projects.
The minister also informs the legislators that the president has approved 19 dates for the project's inauguration, inviting them to be part of it. Chairman Senate Committee on FCT Ibrahim Bomain and other members commend the FCT 2024 budget performance.
I, as the senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, I want to also commend the minister.
I am really impressed about the revenue physical framework. This is the first time FCT is proposing to generate about 1.7 trillion. And out of the 1.7 trillion, 1.3 is the distributable revenue. FCT is generating this type of money. And as I've said earlier, out of the whole amount, about 84% of it is going to capital. And out of the 84%, substantial, almost 75% is going for completion of ongoing projects.
The same 2025 statutory budget estimate was also presented to the members of the House Committee behind closed doors. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Women journalists are said to hold a unique position in shaping narratives, exposing injustices, amplifying the voices of the vulnerable, and promoting peace and dialogue. The need to recognize their vital roles. FCT Minister of State Maria Mahmoud gave this commendation at the inaugural zonal conference of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Zone D, held in Abuja. Tessie Omeri attended the conference.
The inaugural conference of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Zone D, with the theme Curbing Insecurity, the Role of Female Journalists in National Security, brought women from the 6 North Central states together to lend their voices in tackling insecurity through their reportage, with a chant which says it all. This conference, according to the Vice President Zone D, Chizoba Okweche, is to further equip and strengthen the capacity of Nawojians to use their positions as mothers and homemakers to foster peace in the nation.
We know what's expected of us, but we're now speaking with the security agencies, the military, to let us know where do we really come in, what can we do to make a difference, not just as journalists, but also as mothers.
This strong gathering of passionate women, united through the pen, gained the support of the Ministers of Information and Technology and that of Women Affairs, who were well represented, as well as security agencies and a thought-provoking paper on the field.
As strategic partners in nation building, your role is pivotal to the successful implementation of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We count on NAWOJ to use its platform to inform, educate, and galvanize public support for these priorities.
When women are at the table, the questions change, the focus expands, and the solutions that aspire.
Women journalists from Zone D, made up of the North Central states, all promised to take home the message of the conference, which centered on tackling insecurity.
As a female journalist, I believe that if we report more on security issues, it will go a long way to enlighten the populace on what they ought to do at the time they ought to do it.
We feel that the government should not be left alone to handle the issue of security. Everybody should be security conscious.
The Minister of State, Maria Mahmoud, while commending the critical role women journalists play in nation building, despite their challenges, said their work goes beyond reporting the news, as it is about rebuilding trust, fostering national unity, and holding institutions accountable.
You can see His Excellency Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR has the agenda where there is inclusiveness, so females are not left behind. Journalists are precious people that need to be there. So to hear the voices of the women journalists, NAWOJ are really doing great, and we really appreciate them, and we are ready to support them to do more and better for the nation.
High point of the conference was the investiture of the FCT Minister of State as the matron of NAWOJ Zone D in Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Effort to tackle the rising cases of cardiovascular diseases amongst children from the grassroots, the Heart Recovery Foundation has taken cardiovascular education directly to the classrooms. Junior secondary schools across the Federal Capital Territory are benefiting from the newly launched School Heart Health Awareness Program to promote wellness from the tender age. Onotu Yakubu reports.
Scepter to allow blood from the right to the left The program is designed to instill healthy habits in students from a young age, promoting exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle changes that reduce the risk of heart disease. Health experts demonstrated CPR and explained the circulatory system with posters to students who are being introduced to the basics of heart anatomy, symptoms of heart conditions, and practical ways to maintain a healthy cardiovascular system.
We are pleased to be here today to educate the student about congenital heart disease, their symptoms, their management, and how Heart Recovery Foundation is here to help them.
Heart Recovery Foundation, with the founder, who is a heart disease survivor, believes in prevention, starting with education through reaching out to young minds to reduce the burden of heart health challenges in the future.
Heart is very expensive, so we need government to subsidize it. That is the most important thing, because most parents cannot afford a heart surgery because it's very expensive. But if it is subsidized, even though 30% at most, people can say, okay, 30% will be paid by government. Then, because this is a condition you were not born, you didn't acquire as a result of your lifestyle. It's something you acquire as a birth defect. So it's not your fault.
That he has remembered that yes, there are 1,001 persons out there who may need help, and he has initiated it, something worth commending. And I think significantly, everybody is called upon to support this cause.
From interactive classes to physical fitness demonstration, nutrition awareness, and sensitization, the foundation combines fun and learning to make a lasting impact. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
As the world marks Biodiversity Day 2025 under the theme Harmony with Nature and Sustainable Development, the spotlight is on how preserving ecosystems supports key global goals. From ending hunger to fighting climate change, nature is at the heart of many of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Our correspondent, Rabia Chaib, tells us more.
As Nigeria marks World Biodiversity Day 2025, biodiversity, which refers to a variety of living organisms on Earth, is central to sustainable development goals like food security, clean water, good health, and climate action. But as cities expand and forests shrink, that balance is said to be under threat.
Biodiversity has the ability to help in food security. The more diverse our food system is, the more food we have. The more diverse our forest is, the more we're able to have forests that can capture carbon. By capturing carbon, you are reducing the amount of climate change scenarios all over the world.
Experts highlight the need for local action to protect ecosystems while still allowing for infrastructure and economic growth.
All over the world, we are talking about sustainable cities. Sustainable cities in the sense that everything that inculcates environmental protection is built into those cities. From waste disposals or waste management to recreational areas to green areas, all these should be built into cities' development. These should be built into Abuja's development. We know that we have the master plan. We know that the federal government is doing everything possible to stick to the master plan. We encourage them that those areas mapped out for green areas should be kept green. Nigeria, because our biodiversity is rich. We have rich biodiversity, and Nigeria is doing a lot of things to make sure that these biodiversities are conserved. And even in areas where we lack, for example, forest degradation, there are projects to do reforestation of those places. So yeah, I can assure you that Nigeria is doing something great in terms of biodiversity conservation, but we could do more.
Stakeholders believe that the path forward lies in reimagining development through an environmental lens, where progress doesn't just serve people today, but protects the planet for generations to come. In Abuja, Rabia Shaib, NTA News.
The coalition of FCT indigenous people have taken their cry in what they referred to as exclusion of indigenous representatives from nomination into the board of North Central Development Commission to the National Assembly through a peaceful protest. The group at the gate of the National Assembly met with stiff resistance by security personnel. Abdullahi Ajia reports on the protest, which later turned rowdy.
In their hundreds, the indigenous people from the 9 tribes that are original inhabitants of the FCT converged to further amplify their voices and disagreement with the nomination of Solomon Adodo to represent the FCT in the board of the North Central Development Commission. The peaceful protest, which began from the Eagle Square to the National Assembly entrance gate, saw many speakers from the coalition making their demands, including their desire to submit a letter of protest to the Speaker House of Representatives.
We want to tell the President to come to our aid as our father, as the father of the nation, as a peace-loving man that we know him to be, as an equitable and fair man that we know Mr. President to be. The President constituted this regional government so that we'll be able to get development within our rural areas. He wants to take governance to grassroots.
Section 2 sub 1b of the Act stated clearly that there shall be an indigene of each state that constitutes where that commission is being established, which is the North Central. So it is expected that FCT indigene should represent the FCT people in the board. But to our greater dismay, we saw Solomon Adodo representing FCT. Yes. And that is why we are here today at National Assembly to talk to them, to complain to them, and to tell them that we are not happy with this thing.
His representation is just an addition to the people of Benue State and not a representative of the FCT. We are here to ask for justice.
After several hours of waiting and complete barricade of the gate, additional security mobilization dispersed the protesting crowd with tear gas as the protesters took to their hills for safety. The FCT natives said they will not be deterred by this development as they resolve to strategize to get justice. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Let's join our sports desk for updates on the sporting arena.
Athletes representing states and FCT have continued to prove their mettle at the 22nd National Sports Festival in Ogun State. As at the last check of the Day 4 encounter, Team FCT made impressive strides with 9 medals across multiple sporting events. The breakdown shows that the FCT has 3 gold, 2 silver, and 4 bronze medals, while hoping for additional medals. This development, Director of FCT Sports, Luca Estefanos, attributed to investment in grassroots sports development over time, as he expressed pride in the athletes. Meanwhile, Team Bayelsa is still leading on the medals tally. Delta is second, Osun third, Rivers is fourth, while Lagos comes fifth. Talking football, Kwara United will now battle Abakaliki FC in the final of the 2025 President Federation Cup. Both teams proved their worth through the rounds and semi-finals, defeating big names and powerhouses in Nigerian football. Kwara United beat Enugu Rangers 1-0, while Abakaliki FC, a second division team, sent Ikorodu City packing with a 5-4 penalty shootout after a goalless draw in the semi-final. The winner between these two is assured of a potential continental slot.
To Bentonpool. Cross is whipped in and there's a real chance and Johnson has scored.
Still on football, Brennan Johnson's goal was enough to make a historic night for Tottenham Hotspur in Bilbao after the 1-0 victory over Manchester United secured the Europa League title and a Champions League spot for the North London side. The high-stakes all-English clash was full of great moments during regulation time that ended leaving the Red Devils more frustrated with their hope of an European competition dashed. Spurs' victory put an end to a 41 years waiting for an European trophy. With Spurs Brief, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Thank you very much for watching the English version of the news on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Do stay tuned for the translations. Good evening.
Ama agbajaje reshaje wo wona ya bi bada ya zakwai ma ba ku jagba dai yiwo anaba shi ba bada wo mo precis ba yuba wani waje a nabage gogayi yiku a nabage bwa nge she gwamnati gi kwai gu shafa bagbatu waiwai nya bwa nya yayi gwamnati gadugo bagbatu waiwai ko ba mashi lo ba fece shi kwai ba be ekiye na adwegi na asapa gbogbo kwa mwa ayeki nyabwa hawajin ba wada ige badada no minister ekiye agiwe nyabwa ya atitishin ba ye Doris Ozuko bai da sanu ba bai shi yeshi abwa shi na ba shi ba ce na ba nya gbedokun ya eye nya kwanyi wagoto nge nzata pariyo atache ye yasan kariyo zoko gadogo bagbatu wawai gwamnati gi ko bai ce ko ba mashin lo nyabwa zoko ikiye ashi atutu mbaba bai mashin anabagi aje sidai nge kizida minister nge yes wuke lalo a galuko bagbatu kai nagmainda bado nzazai dugweda a kizidna ayokai azabaka a kizidna rein ba wega ba ayokai ya ntu a kizidna atnutnu bamuji na agiwei na ye aiwu kizidna ye na iye kwanyi onaza yakubu wada nge minister ye bai dabo na sanite bada na repsi ba shi kizidna rein wog na baga bawo agiwe nlo ya atlila gbai nkpasi tu shita bache inwe mwa kwa shi atutu nche ekizit na ye wagodo wenda nge agiwe bataba ku na jagudonu agwo nge gado ne che ikinye ekizit na ye kwenye aji apa akpeba aji apa che na banyu aji atutu awewe ishe abai mushilawu ekizit na ye kwenye magbaje anabaje kuzo yebeji adawo su shekwa gife yipaga woni shisu saisu.
Masu kallo da sauraron mu assalamu alaikum barkanmu da warhaka a takaice kamar yadda aka saba ga fasarar wasu daga cikin labaran mu na yau mai karantawa Yusuf Yakub. A yayin da kasar nan ta bude sabon babi na bunƙasa haraji ana kyautata zato kokarin da gwamnati ke yi da tabbatar da gaskiya a zahiri tare da ciyar da tsarin hada haraji gaba zai haifar da ɗa mai ido ga tattalin arzikin kasar da ci gaban al'ummarta. Wakiliyarmu Hauwa Gimba ta rawaito mana cewa ƙaramar ministar kuɗi ta ƙasa Doris Uzoka Aniti ita ce ta jaddada ƙoƙarin da gwamnati ke yi a lokacin taron ƙarawa juna sani karo na 27 da makarantar koyar da ilimin haraji ta ƙasa ta shirya a nan babban birnin tarayyar ƙasa Abuja. Ministan babban birnin tarayyar ƙasa Abuja Nyesom Wike ya kare kasafin kuɗin 2025 kimanin naira tiriliyan 1.8 a gaban kwamitin majalisun dattijai da wakilai na Abuja. Wakilin Shaibu Onoze Yakubu ya shaida mana cewa za a yi amfani da kuɗin ne wajen gudanar da ayyukan ababen more rayuwa a nan birnin tarayya Abuja domin bunƙasa tattalin arzikin birnin da kyautata rayuwar al'ummar gaba ɗaya. To a takaice abin da ya sauka kenan a labaran namu ne sai kuma gobe idan Allah ya kai mu Allah ya tashe mu lafiya.